happens in your life, whether it's good or bad, is completely your fault. Not enough people take responsibility for their lives completely. Take responsibility for your life. Everything in your life is completely your fault. Please understand, as a man, the key to being successful is building a formidable mindset that makes you ultra and hyper competitive in a very competitive environment. Now, competence and the ability to perceive the world as it really is, perspicacious, and understanding the truth of the universe is certainly a key element in terms of becoming a feared opponent and understanding the world and being competitive. However, there are certain scenarios, there are certain times in which you don't have to be concerned with being right or wrong. You must be concerned only with being as competitive as possible. This is the idea I try and teach people inside the Matrix when I say I do not believe depression is real, and they try and convince me it's real. I don't care what science you come up with convincing me it's real, because if I believe in depression, I am more likely to become depressed. If I don't believe in it, it cannot affect me. I cannot become depressed if I do not believe in depression. So by extension, my mind is more competitive. I'm a more feared opponent. I'm more dangerous if I don't believe in depression. That's why I've created my mindset to be as competitive as possible. You must understand that competitiveness as a whole is the baseline for masculine experience. Every dollar you want is wanted by every other man. Men can make money, but money cannot make men. Money is an amplifier. Money will do nothing more than amplify who you are. So it's very important you understand that once you learn how to make money, you're going to realize you really, truly didn't want money. You wanted power, respect, connections, network. You want experiences. You want to see outside the matrix and be dealing with other people and talking to other people who are outside of the matrix. You are competing against other men your entire life. Even when you walk into a room, instantly you are measured and sized up and down, and you are competing. So for this reason, you must understand that you must build a mind that allows you to compete day after day at the highest possible echelons and be successful. To do that, you must self-analyze. Everything in your life is your fault. By accepting everything in your life is your fault, it makes you more competitive. If you believe that things just happen to you or that bad luck just comes and you can't affect it, you're not as competitive as someone like me who believes that everything is my fault. If it rains tomorrow, I am responsible for the rain. Do you understand? You may think I'm crazy, but I'm not, because I could have looked at the weather forecast and flown to another country to avoid the rain. There is always something I could have done. I could have packed an umbrella. I could have planned to go driving on another day when it's not raining. Everything is my fault all the time. I have absolutely not self-responsibility and accountability, which allows me to become as effective as possible when I'm facing my problems. When the problems appear, my Aikido is max level 1000 because I am self-analyzing permanently. Everything I do is self-analysis. Everything from the way I speak to the way I walk to the things I do, all of it is absolutely and utterly based on complete accountability and self-analysis. So you must self-analyze. Get a piece of paper, write down everything in your life you're happy for, everything in your life you're not happy for, understand absolutely all of it is your fault. And once you truly understand that and make a plan to change it, things will begin to change. Nothing good in life happens on accident. You're never going to become rich on accident. Self-accountability is absolutely not only important. It's based on self-reflection. Good question. It should be a daily habit for every single man who is serious about improving their lives. If you're trying your absolute best all of the time, soon your life will start to improve. And when your life improves, you meet better people. When you meet better people, you can have more interesting conversations. You can make more money. You have a better network. You can go to new places. You can meet even more important people. And all of a sudden, you will see that life can very quickly become an upward spiral. It's nearly impossible for people like you and I to now become broke. It's an upward spiral. We can't go poor. We know too many rich people. We can't not have good business ideas. We can't not fix problems. It's nearly impossible for us not to have everything we want. An upward spiral is also very real, and you nailed it with our friend here. Anybody who is below us and not on our level, if you really want to talk to us, you know exactly what to do to have a conversation with us. Become too important to ignore. We became too important to ignore. And it's down to you now to become too important to ignore. If you have any kind of honor inside of your heart, if you have any kind of respect for your ancestors, if you have any kind of healthy masculine ego, which you're supposed to have, not the ego which destroys you, the ego which convinces you that you're special for no reason, but instead the ego which convinces you you need to be respected and you're prepared to do any amount of work it takes to be respected, it's fantastic. That's a good thing. Having an ego you work hard to justify is a superpower. If you want to matter, if you want to argue with us or disagree with us on any subject, then you need to get up and get to work. That's the only answer. I cannot deny that feeling depressed is real because every single human on the planet sometimes feels depressed. Feeling depressed is real, but being a depressive or having depression is something else. I accept that if I do feel depressed or I do feel sad or I do feel negative, which is actually very rare for me, but if it does ever happen, I understand I'm human and it's an emotion I'm going through and it will pass. People who have depression believe that they have a disease that can't be fixed and can't be cured. You are handing your power away. You're giving your power to an outside source and you're saying that I have no control over this. It doesn't matter what situation you're in. You need to at least believe you have some degree of control. When I say depression isn't real, I'm not saying you don't feel depressed. I'm saying that you can fix it. It's not a disease that you caught from the sky. You can fix it by taking control of your own mind. Listen, I'll tell you right now, I don't know how to fly a plane. I don't know. But if I was in a plane and it was crashing and I was sitting in the pilot's chair, I would still hold on to the gear stick or joystick or whatever it's called. I'd hold on to it and try and move. Even though I don't know what I'm doing, I'd try and get some control over the scenario. I'm not going to give up and put my hands in the air and crash into a mountain. I would try and do something. I'm not the guy who relinquishes all his control to outside forces. I believe I have a lot of control and power within myself. So when I speak to depressed people, you are one, hypnotizing yourself to believe you have it. Two, giving a bunch of power to this outside source instead of believing the power inside of yourself. And three, not just being realistic enough to know that I feel a certain way and I feel this way because of my life circumstances. And if I change my life circumstances, perhaps my mindset might change. And that's why I say depression isn't real. The worst things on the planet could happen to me. I refuse to be a depressed person. I may feel depressed for a day, or I may feel depressive for a few hours, but I will never be a depressed person. I'm not the guy who walks with his head down. That's who I am as an individual, and I absolutely not refuse to change. And I cannot catch depression. Happiness is the number one thing that must be earned. And I'll tell you that my happiness is based on very real world achievements. I couldn't be happy if I was broke. I couldn't be happy if I was obese. I couldn't be happy if I was lonely. I couldn't be happy if I wasn't respected. I couldn't be happy in those scenarios. So I made sure none of them scenarios came true. I have earned my happiness via hard work. It's the top of a mountain, which I have climbed. I deserve it. And every single guy who hasn't got it probably doesn't deserve it. The universe is very giving and very fair. People seem to think that the world is unfair, and those are all the same people who tell themselves they're unlucky. I actually believe the opposite. I believe the universe is a very giving place. I believe God is a very giving being, and that the world all in all generally balances out and is pretty fair. If you're the kind of person who deserves a good life and works their ass off and genuinely wants it and tries very hard, guess what you get 99% of the time? A good life. And if you're the kind of person who doesn't really deserve it, slacks 3 days a week, a little bit lazy, snakes his friends, talks behind people's back, blah, 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 guess what? Your life ain't all that good. The universe is pretty fair and pretty balanced. I've yet to meet somebody who gets up every day, does what they're supposed to do, works hard, goes to the gym, then goes to work, does their best, makes their money, looks after it, is sensible, doesn't blow it, etc.